Hello, my name is Millie. I graduated 2020, the COVID year, sadly. But I started actually at SCGS in grade five. So spent most of my formative years there at St Gilgan. So currently I work for the University of Cambridge's Net Zero initiative called Cambridge Zero, and I work within the policy and education team there. So the initiative was established essentially to really drive innovation within the university when it comes to net zero, and really ensuring that research, education and policy are really streamlined within the university so that we can get the top academics essentially with the brilliant brains and their innovation to try and tackle climate change being one of the biggest problems that humanity faces today. I really took those lessons with me when it comes to excellence, integrity, and also passion and lifelong love of learning. Really drove that whilst I was actually at university, because part of me went through a very academically challenging period of my life where I could have just sat down in the library and just to focus on grades and have only focused on just doing that. But essentially what I did was also apply that same lesson I learned from St Gilgan, as if you see an issue, you're going to try and change it and get out there and try and make that positive change happen. But essentially what I did was when I was a student, I was involved in the Cambridge Climate Society, a great student-led initiative that run incredible events and different work streams. And I was involved in launching an education project that essentially tried to reform curriculum within the University of Cambridge, which is a very difficult thing to do considering all the bureaucratic tape and academic freedom. But essentially what I did was I managed 30 students and worked across 7 different departments, ranging from chemical engineering, English, in a very interdisciplinary way to actually get students to evaluate the curriculum and really push and have conversations with academics to make key changes within the undergraduate degrees there. And through that, really had to apply a lot of integrity and also a lot of excellence in the way that you research and you deal with project management, just because of it being working with academics in that setting. But it required a lot of integrity because there were so many setbacks when it comes to just the essentially how difficult it is to navigate the decentralized system. So it's not like you can go to a central curriculum setting body and say make these changes. You have to work with these individual departments. But essentially that led to some really great conversations and curriculum reforms. And actually, I mean, the people that were involved in the project, undergraduate students, they came to me and said, because of this project, I'm now going to be doing a master's in environmental sciences. I'm now doing this or this. Can I have a reference letter for this organization or doing other fields of work? So it was a really, really great initiative. But essentially through this project, I gained a real passion for education policy and thinking about how can we provide formal curriculum opportunities for young people to learn about climate change, just as I did through the school. And a part of the work I do now for Cambridge Zero is essentially a bit of research around how can essentially the Department of Education's sustainability and climate change strategy be refreshed in a way that it really provides quality education for young people across the UK when it comes to learning about climate change. And obviously coming from an IB background to the UK background really gives you so much wealth of experience when it comes to competency-based learning, and it's very much knowledge-based learning in the UK system. So I can really transfer that almost like the excellence that the IB and that SDGIS provided when it's like skill focused competencies, really try to translate that within the UK context, at least with the current piece of research. Another part of the work that I do is around international climate policy. So essentially a lot of work actually within the school when I was there was teachers love to show documentaries and get kids inspired by watching videos and really try and evoke passion for a subject through that medium of documentary making. And that's essentially where I first really learned about climate change through documentaries such as like Before the Flood or these really big documentaries. And I even know Mr. Patton also had recommended documentaries to watch for his biology lessons, and that was just an example there. But essentially had the amazing opportunity through Cambridge Zero to work on the Act Now film documentary, where essentially we share the stories of young climate leaders around the world who have done incredible work when it's driving climate change innovation, advocacy. For example, we had someone from Portugal, Mariana Gomez, who sued her government in Portugal for the fact that they weren't adhering to essentially their climate change targets. Incredible people from like Barrow from Kiribati, whose island won't be there within the end of the century based on sea level rise. Just sharing people's stories and amazing work he did at COP, and I actually met him at COP 28 in a bilateral meeting with some ministers when I was a student there, and I just really connected with them and said, we need to share your story. So connecting with young people through that documentary medium, being involved in that and really creating an inspirational platform for young people to share their stories. Really, you had to rely on the passion there to make that possible. And also documentaries are an informal form of curriculum, informal way of learning about climate change. So I think that also ties into the lifelong love of learning, is that a lot of the work I do is also based on learning and how can we drive a positive impact. And with the international climate policy work that I do, it's also really around calling for the official integration of young people within international climate policy and the UNFCCC, because it's an area that is really, it's gained more attraction. Organizations, different bodies are trying to get young people on panels, on the boards of governance, but essentially there's issues like youth washing, or in a way that young people aren't actually involved in providing the policy statements, or actually that's being translated into what's happening on the ground. So there's all these issues that I'm trying to address through the work, which is incredible, and been involved with the official constituency within the UNFCCC within COP conferences called Youngo. So they essentially provide amazing essentially a political policy expertise within climate change, so support their work. So just really involved with the very colourful, positive area of young people's involvement within the international climate policy, which is absolutely incredible. And also been delivered capacity building workshops at COP 29 in Azerbaijan within the UN's. They have a youthful capacity kind of division, where it's all about essentially providing young people with the skills to decipher and decode UNFCCC language. And it's actually a bit of the presentation that I will bring to the school conference that Ms. Bristol's doing at SDGIS, I think in a few weeks' time, for students across schools and in Badishal and the region who are interested in climate change. So it's really great to take that the key work that I've done regarding passion, integrity, and excellence within the field of learning to actually directly draw from the experience I had from school, and also give that back in almost like a cycle. And I think that's important when it comes to the lifelong learning, is that it's not a singular action of it's just me learning or the love that I have for essentially learning, but it's also how can I give back to my community? I've gained so much, how can I give back? And it's all about that reciprocity of learning, exchanging experiences. So I think that's a key lesson that I've taken also from the school, is that essentially apply those key skills that you and those key opportunities you gained to others, and really share that energy and share that love for learning to really have a positive impact. Yeah.